Ann Coulter is joining us here on the Howie Carr Show. Ann, nice to have you here on the Howie Carr Show.
Thank you. Good to talk to you, Howie.
Well, listen, Ann, I got to get your take on something. We've just been talking about it. It's a breaking story here in Massachusetts. Melania Trump sent out a bunch of books to various public school libraries around the country. Because she said, because it's the start of school and all this, and she sent a school in Cambridge, a public school, a copy of Dr. Seuss's "Oh, the Places You'll Go." And do you see where the story's going now?
I have a pretty good guess.
Yeah, they refused to accept the Bush and sent her back a snotty letter telling her that Dr. Seuss was a racist.
You're kidding. Actually, I thought they were going to reject it just because it was Melania. They're claiming Dr. Seuss was racist?
Dr. Seuss, yeah, and again, I repeat this, no one knows this newspaper anymore, but the PM, it was the super left-wing tabloid in New York City in the 1940s, and he was the cartoonist for it. He was an old-time
I think
lefty.
His politics were actually liberal, though, of course, we all loved his books.
Right.
And the politics didn't come through. I must say, I used to insist on a NASDAQ ticker style, informational template that would tell us which words we weren't allowed to use. But at this point, I think it would be easier if they just told us what's not racist.
Well, she talks about how snotty it is, and she says Betsy DeVos is closing all these schools, and you've got to learn about that kind of stuff. But Steve, my producer.
Wait, so it is more about who is sending it than Dr. Seuss.
Oh no! Analyzing the minstrel characteristics and trope nature of Seuss's characters, whatever the hell trope nature means, I have no idea.
Analyzing. Could you say that again?
Right. No, she said she's got to. You'll see the racist mockery in his art if you open one of his books. And then she refers her to some monograph or something. Analyzing the minstrel characteristics and trope nature of Seuss's characters. You may not be aware of this, like she's lecturing the First Lady, but Dr. Seuss is a bit of a cliche, a tired and worn ambassador of children's literature. They are steeped in racist propaganda, caricatures, and harmful stereotypes.
This is fantastic. You've given me a new lease on life, Howie. I'm going to look up this woman and this letter right away. This is the best thing I've heard since that Brittany Cooper wrote about the racism of a man asking for the seat next to her on a train. I don't know if you saw that. It was in The Nation, I think. It was fantastic.
Yeah. This is
even better.
Yeah.
And this is why we have, generation after generation of school children who don't like to read, something that is particularly painful to a writer, because only liberals, well, as I've often said, only liberals could make sex unattractive. Only liberals could make reading unattractive. Sex, because of their totally disgusting, grosso sex education in the public schools, and reading because it's never... Real history is really interesting and really fun, and good historians or good writers write beautifully, and it's fun to read. It's more fun than television.
Right.
But all of these harridans we're looking for the minstrel characteristics in Dr. Seuss and lesbian imagery in Shakespeare. Oh, please just let us read.
Listen to this, Ann, because I know I identify with this because I love Dr. Seuss. Listen to this. Dr. Seuss's "Oh, the Places You'll Go" is a book my son and I have read over and over again, and one that we want to share with all of you. I mean, that's the way. Dr. Seuss is the way so many people, so many kids like myself, way back when, got introduced to reading, and I loved it, and I read it over and over and over and over again.
I know. I'm still citing the one. I think it's a little elephant baby who goes around, doesn't know what he looks like, and keeps asking, like the ostrich mother.
Is that Horton Hears a Horton Hears a Who? Or is that when Horton?
I don't know the name.
Horton sits on the egg. Horton sits on the egg, right? Because he hatches.
Must be it.
Yeah, that's the one. Horton's the elephant, and he rescues this egg.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he looks like, so he keeps going up to different animals, saying, "Are you?" Yeah, that's what I feel like when I come out of a TV studio and I'm looking for my car and amid a fleet of black limousines. Are you my mother?
Yeah. Well, this librarian doesn't even realize, but she's a pretty good stand-in for the Grinch. Now that the Grinch is wised up and likes Christmas.
Oh, she's a stand-in for my former favorite, Brittany Cooper. And if you haven't looked up Brittany Cooper, you can get several shows out of that article about her riding on the train and the patriarchy and racism of a man asking her to move her computer so he could sit next to her. The rage. He touched my black body.
Yeah, and I'll just read you one more thing here from this because I know you're gonna read it yourself.
Oh no, please keep reading. I could listen to this all day.
And again, this is her. She's lecturing the First Lady of the land who made the terrible mistake of trying to give her and her students a book that they would like to read. Cambridge, Massachusetts is an amazing city with robust social programming, a responsive city government, free all-day kindergarten, and well-paid teachers. Parentheses, relatively speaking, many of us can't afford to live in the city in which we teach. Close parentheses, period.
Two things there. One is I love the slip of her saying with wonderful social programming. Oh, yes, that is social programming. Point two is, and probably many of your listeners do. I have a whole chapter in Godless about these good-for-nothing teachers always complaining about how they're not paid enough. I know that, some teachers are worth every penny and probably more than what they're being paid, but, oh, gosh, an awful lot of them are like this one. Most of them are administrators. They're not teaching at all. They get summers off. They're done at 2 in the afternoon. They have full health care, full benefits, and they have loads of time to keep writing letters to the editor or to the First Lady like this one complaining about how little they're paid.
Well, Ann, I used to live in Cambridge, and I owned my own place in Cambridge in Harvard Square, and I like Dr. Seuss. So there it is. That's the problem in a nutshell, right?
That's I'm into, right there.
That's right. It's part of the trope nature of my life and the menstrual characteristics that I endorse. And I had a deeded parking space in Harvard Square. And you talk about white privilege up the what?
Oh, I'm so glad I called in today.
We're going to make this one.
Hey, wait a second. What is this school? Is it a public? I am assuming this is a public school.
Yeah, she's a public school librarian. It doesn't say which school it is. Her name is Liz Phipps Soero.
Yes, of course, it's a hyphenated name.
No, it's not hyphenated. Steve asked me that too. It's just two names. It's not hyphenated. But she's after Betsy DeVos, and she's after the First Lady. How dare they send us Dr. Seuss book? And you know very well that they can't have open air burning of leaves anymore because of the planet's fever, right? But I think Cambridge is ready for a Dr. Seuss book burning. Just go around to every public school library in the city, get those books, and take them to City Hall. And we'll right out on Massachusetts Avenue, and we'll burn those damn books.
Oh, yeah. Hey, want to make a wager with me, Howie?
What's that?
I bet Heather Phipps Hooster's library, whatever her name is, I bet it has multiple copies of Heather Has Two Mommies.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, what I want to see is, unfortunately, maybe, Steve, have they got the list of the books she wants Melania to study? Maybe because there's
we got to get that.
Yeah, I'm attaching a list of 10 books. It's the librarian in me that I hope will offer you a window into the lives of the many children affected by the policies of your husband's administration.
Okay, can you just privately send me that list? Because by Monday, I will have read them all, and I'll be ready to give you a book review.
I'll make sure you get it in.
Do you have the list, by the way, Steve? Do you have
Looking for it right now.
Okay, we're looking for it. I'm going to guess Heather Has Two Mommies, or some variation of the Heather Has Two Mommies children's book industry is there.
If I have to submit a FOIA to get this list, I will.
Or maybe Hope Hicks can get it for us at the White House, you know?
Finally, something out of this White House.
All right. No, I've got it. Auntie Yang's Great Soybean Picnic. The Boy in Bindi. The Boy in the Bindi. Drum Dream Girl. How One Girl's Courage Changed Music. King for a Day. Mama's Nightingale. A Story of Immigration and Separation.
Oh, there we go, Ann. There we go.
My Cold Plum Lemon Pie Bluesy Mood. Red. A Crayon Story. Separate is Never Equal. Sylvia Mendez and her family's fight for desegregation. Somos como las nubes.
I guess we've gotten past the patriarchy in that school.
How about Goodnight Moon?
Oh, I love that book.
I know, me too. How about Eloise? I'm a boy, and I loved Eloise. Eloise at the Plaza Hotel with her pug. I mean, that was a great book.
No, I think I still have those books.
And you're really going to love this one. Two White Rabbits is the last one on, and this is the description. A girl and her father travel by foot, by raft, and by train. As they travel, the girl recounts the things that she sees. Originally published in Spanish, this quiet picture book highlights the experience of a child, refugee, or immigrant. It's just a great story about illegal immigration, Ann. Come on.
I would do these books. This would be what I would fantasize as a joke reading list.
Horton is an elephant. He's from Africa. What's wrong with Horton? Here's a who.
Horton traffics in fentanyl.
or he's not. If not, maybe not Africa. He's at least from India. He's from a third world country. There aren't any native first world elephants, right? I mean, he should. But he's getting the bums rush out of the People's Republic of Cambridge public schools.
I just hope they make it clear that women and minorities have invented everything, including constitutional democracy, flight, indoor plumbing, all the stuff we take for granted.
And Steve just discovered that when she was in the White House, Michelle Obama, you saw Michelle Obama said, any woman who voted, she basically parroted Hillary and said any woman who voted for Trump is a fool and, was used badly by her male, the closest associates or relatives, friends, etc. And now it turns out Michelle Obama had a Cat in the Hat party at the White House.
Oh, man, I had no idea how wide this patriarchal conspiracy was.
You know what the Black Panthers used to say, Ann? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So I guess this means Michelle Obama is part of the problem of the Dr. Seuss patriarchy in our society.
Yes, although I would have to say that all of the males in my life would complain that the argument about voting for Trump, the abuse definitely went the other way.
That's what people we did that in the first
voting for Trump.
We did that in the first hour, and then woman after woman caller was saying, Ann, that I ordered my husband to vote for Trump, and he damn well did it, or if he knew what was good for him.
Exactly.
Ann Coulter, we're glad to have you with us, and we will expect a full book report on all these great books that you'll be checking out until Monday.
I got a busy weekend ahead of me.
Yes. Okay, Ann Coulter. And what's the title of your current book? Your most recent.
Trump we trust, e pluribus awesome, and you want menstrual caricatures. Or whatever.
No, not minstrel characters, minstrel characters, like...
minstrel! Okay,
yes.
Lots of minstrel characters, too.
Minstrel and minstrel tropes, whatever they are. I'm Howie Carr.